Welcome. Sutra that we are discussing is 49th Sutra. 49th Sutra is about elaborating on what is Ritambhara Prajna. Because in the previous Sutra it has been told ṛtaṃbharā tatra prajñā. What is Ritambhara Prajna? We have discussed a little bit. But further clarity is given by the next sutra. Sutra says, śruta-anumāna-prajñābhyām-anya-viṣayā, viśeṣa-arthatvāt. This is the wording. And it simply means that this prajna, wisdom, which has been referred to as a ṛtaṃbharā, that is truth-bearing wisdom or intuitive knowledge, because it is capturing something unique. Uniqueness we'll discuss later. Because it is capturing something unique, the meaning is unique and it is different from the knowledge that is gained from śruta-anumāna. See, two higher levels of gaining knowledge are anumana and shruti. Anumana and shabda pramana. There are two pramanas which are higher than direct perception. We always think that a direct perception is the highest source of our knowledge. But the fact is, it is not. The field of knowledge that we operate in and the knowledge body that helps us in navigating through life mostly depends on 90% plus of it is shabda pramana, shruta. You have heard about it or you have read about it. Both are shabda pramana. Everyone has it. In every field it works like that. Not that it only works in the field of a spiritual journey or a spiritual quest. It works everywhere. Shruta is something which is heard. Actually, whenever you read something, it is heard only. Because when you read, you internally hear what you are reading. In another way, it is communicated wisdom. If you want to further generalize it, it is communicated wisdom. And our way of communication is language, spoken language. For most of us who are not spatially abled, they have this system where they understand things or receive wisdom or knowledge through communication. And shabda pramana has also been defined as not all shabdas or not all words that come to us can be called shabda pramana. Shabda pramana is that which is communicated by someone who has either inferenced it correctly or has experienced it directly. Okay, it's not tongue in cheek. Second, this is first qualification. Second qualification is that he should not have any vested interest, like or dislike, while communicating this knowledge. Then only a particular knowledge can be pramana, or else it is a catalog of a business corporation. The best refrigerator is now in the town. Who's saying that? The company which makes it, or the reviewer who has been paid by that company. So, is it a pramana? It is not. All right. So, our way of life in which we conduct our business requires very little knowledge. It does not require a lot of knowledge. It only requires superficial knowledge. It does not require deep knowledge. Let us be clear. The kind of life we live and the aspirations that we have, we do not need any deep knowledge. Any knowledge will be okay that is superficial and makes us navigate our day-to-day life. Because whatever we are seeking is also not very deep. Okay. We are only trying to seek sense gratification or trying to fulfill some of our desires in the field of lokeshna, putreshna, vitteshna, etc. Nothing more than that. So what deep knowledge is needed? Nothing. Any Mr. Tom can come and teach us how to make good amount of money. And that is sufficient for us. Actually, that is more valuable for us, most of us, rather than Utpaldeva, Patanjali, Somananda, Abhinav Gupta, Panini. They coming forward and telling us the truth of the life. We don't need it. Hardly we need it. But system of yoga is not depending on, or rather it is training the yoga aspirant to get to the direct experience of that knowledge. And for that, one has to cultivate a special kind of mental attitude or mental state, which is known as Ritambhara Prajna. For that also, previously it was told that you have to have ekagra chitta bhumika as a qualification. Then it has to be further refined to niruddha chitta bhumika, where the ṛtaṃbharā prajñā is rising. It is rising in vichara shunyata, nirvichara vaisharadya, mastery of keeping your mind free of all thought constructs at will for the time duration that you want. Okay. This is how we cultivate this kind of mental state, or the state of mind which is capable of bearing the truth. All right. It can be occasional also. Not that it will always be for those people who are constantly in this nirvichara vaisharadhya. So wherever and whenever you are thoughtless, there is an opportunity for that mind to become available to the truth. That is what yoga is not proposing, tantra proposes. And second method of knowing the truth, superficially so, is by way of anumana. Anumana means inference. All right. And inferencing is done on the basis of some known percepts and concepts that you have already in your mind, in your buddhi, which is called buddhi samvit, and inputs that are provided by sense organs. Anuman cannot be made, inference cannot be made without these two. That means Anuman is about interpreting particular sense stimulus based on certain concepts that are already present in your buddhi samvit. This is Anuman. All right. In absence of any of these, Anuman or inference cannot be made. So this is conditional. It depends on two things. Shruta is also dependent on two things. The one that is the words someone should tell us about something. And second, we should also have capability or capacity to comprehend it. Okay. This is also dependent on the two. And this ability to comprehend is whose capacity? This capacity to comprehend shabda or the words coming to you will depend on the previous exposure and comprehension of earlier knowledge. So having that much knowledge that you can absorb or understand the new knowledge that is being presented to you in words. And sometimes you may fail, even when shabda pramanas are being presented. I'll tell you one example and it will clarify. In the same year when Einstein submitted his papers on photoelectric effect, where he established that higher frequencies of light, when they cross a particular threshold frequency, are capable of ejecting certain electrons from certain metals outside the surface of metal. That was his research. And it could be established also practically. However, in the same year, he also presented the great theory of relativity. And you should be surprised to know that Einstein received his Nobel Prize for photoelectric effect. What does that mean? It simply means the panel who was evaluating these pramanas given by Einstein was not able to comprehend, and therefore they did not understand the vastness, gravity and depth of the concept which Einstein presented. And what was Einstein's understanding? It was just the right anumana. What I am saying, did I not tell you? Correct anuman How did he make that inference? Correct inference, how did he make? By using certain mathematical understanding about which he was perfect. So using that, he derives something, presents it to the audience and learned audience, but even learned audience is not able to comprehend. So what about us? If today it is not oversimplified for us and all the theory that Einstein has presented is given to us in all its mathematical glory, we will not understand what Einstein is trying to say. Got it? So what does it mean? Even this shabda pramana, that means the knowledge which is communicated either in words spoken or written, is dependent on our state of buddhi, buddhi samvit. What is it that is contained currently in buddhi samvit? For us who have a little background of science, may probably agree and appreciate the fact whatever Einstein has presented, but find someone who is not literate at all, try to tell him this theory and he will say, don't try to fool me. He will not only reject, he will become angered. So therefore, Shabda Pramana also present us only a superficial understanding, and that too based on the capacity that our mind has already acquired. And it is relative. It is not uniquely same for everyone. Let me tell you how to actually make you understand what does it mean. This statement is that the power that each one of us have, the buddhi, the sharpness, the IQ, that capacity to corroborate things, it is different for different people, different individuals, right? And therefore, when something comes to us, everyone will try to understand those words and will derive some meaning which is as per his own or her own capacity. So it is not same. It is not same for everyone, and therefore Shabda Pramanas can also be misleading. Misleading even when they are just not experienced, but only as a concept also they may be misleading. I'll give you an example that Shabda Pramanas are many at times confusing. Why? Because of simple reason, we are not mature enough. We are not seasoned enough. We are not trained enough to get the right kind of understanding from them. All right. So Shabda Pramanas pertain to direct experience, and it can be correct anumana also. What Einstein is doing, Einstein is actually proposing. He's not able to show it practically, but he's just proposing. Mathematically, he is proposing, and his anuman was mathematically 100% correct. It was later proven that yes, this is correct. So therefore, you should understand that anuman and direct perception, when communicated, become Shabda Pramana. All right. But there is another way of perceiving. And when that is done, it defies many of the language constructs. And language is not capable of transferring the exact experience if it is tried to get into expression. Suppose somebody tries to express an experience into words, then words fail to carry that experience. So direct perception is too difficult to translate into shabda. Mhm. Okay. This is the problem with Shabda Pramana. I'll give you an example and then you'll understand. Define me. I have never tasted dates or khajur. Define me the taste of dates. Communicate to me. What is it like? You can write a novel on it. But if I have not tasted, I'll not understand. I can't understand what it means. Correct or not? So, Shabda Pramanas may be treated as the highest form of truth coming directly from masters, but they are most incapable, honestly speaking, ineffectual in actually communicating what is intended. Because Shabda or the words cannot capture the experience. And all our scriptures are laden with that wisdom which is pertaining to the experience. So while we may be ordained to abide by Shabda Pramanas 100%, we should know that they are not leading us anywhere. However, there is no other way. You'll have to operate in the framework of Shabda Pramanas. There's no other way. And I was on the point of how Shabda Pramanas can be confusing. I told you the reason for that, but now look at that, what actually it means to you. In our ashram, we chant Ganapati Atharvashish every day in front of Ganapati Vigraha. Now in that Ganapati Atharvashish, so many attributes and their experiential truths, please understand, they are expression of the experiencer, because that is coming directly from Atharva Veda. And when that is saying Tvam Bhumirapo Nalo Nilo Nabha, okay, what does that mean? You are 5 tattvas, the great Panchamahabhutas. You understood? Everyone? There are 2 things which are said. You means the Ganapati. You don't know. You don't have any direction. You have the experience of the Vigraha, which is just a stone carved idol. Idol carved in stone. You don't know Ganapati. And then it is said, Bhumi, Apaha, Anala, Anila, Nabha, etc. Do you know these tattvas? You don't know. Nothing understood. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. No experiential gain. But this is not all. It also means that Anal and Anil, Nabha and Bhumi, they are all the same. If one entity is all this, essentially they are all the same at the core. Do you understand this? No, you don't understand that. Then further it says, Tvam Pratyaksham Brahmasi. You're personified Brahman. Do you know Brahman? Don't know. Acha. Now, if someone who has not been trained in this Shastra, will he not question how come Brahman becomes Tattvas, Panchamahabhutas? Correct or not? So it can be confusing to someone and it can be kind of enlightening to someone, but it is not a real enlightenment. It's only a false sense of knowledge. And let me tell you, by reading scriptures, this false sense of knowing gets too much. And this is bandha, jnanam bandha. And Patanjali is also coming to the same point. He is saying Ritambhara is different. It is special. It is not shruti. It is not anumana. It is not shruti means it is not scriptural knowledge. It does not pertain to scriptural knowledge. And it is not anumana. It is not inferential knowledge. See, even if you have to establish that Brahman becomes these tattvas, while you know nothing about Brahman and you have no direct experience of the tattvas separately, still you can inference how Brahman can become the Panchamahabhutas. Correct or not? And what will be your inference? Will it be bearing the truth? No. Why? Because all this exercise we are doing using the cognitive powers, organ of perceptions, and we are trying to understand it only well within the domain of buddhi samvit. While buddhi samvit, when I say it's a samvit means something which is a kind of substratum, sum total. Okay, buddhi samvit means sum total buddhi. Okay, that means the complete block of buddhi. All right, that's buddhi samvit. Buddhi means intelligence or intellect, to be more precise. Okay. Now, Ritambhara is none of this. Then what is Ritambhara? How it bears the truth? And why this truth, which it bears, is uniformly the same for everyone who experiences it. So it must depend on something else. As I said, all your shruti, that is the words communicated by masters, the inferences obtained by masters, when communicated, they will also become shruti. And your inferences on those words will become real inference for you. All these are to be carried out without the help of something which is variable or which is changing. Then only it can bear the uniform truth, the ultimate truth. Yes or no? If it is person dependent, then God will also be person dependent. The Brahman, the Shiva, the Shakti, they will become person dependent. The perception, the experience of God will become person dependent. And it is not, because it is the truth, ultimate truth. So it means what? Normal kind of cognition will not suffice here. And normal power of mind will not work here. And what is our state of mind? Our state of mind is ekagra in vikshipta. This is our state of mind. Our state of mind is mood in vikshipta. Our state of mind is niruddha in vikshipta. Our state of mind is vikshipta in vikshipta. Why vikshipta? Because our instrument that we call mind, if we take it as a a ball of some fluid liquid, it is not stabilized yet. There are so many currents which are still playing there, which are still keeping it unstable, whirling, swirling. And why it is so? Because we have lots of likes and dislikes. We have kama, krodha, moha, lobha, mada, matsarya. We have likes and dislikes, raga, dvesha. We still have choices in life. We still project our mind to the future, non-existent entity that we want to experience right now, based on your whims and fancies of inferencing. You're creating problems, non-existent problems you're creating and suffering now. This is what is future. And then you are constantly recollecting your past, non-existent, only dead, and allowing it to stir your mind, and rejecting present. Living in the present is not a choice. Let me tell you. People tell that you have to be in present, you have to be in present, you have to be. It's not a choice. It's compulsion. We are all in present. It's compulsion. We are living in the present only, but the problem is we are not keeping all our faculties in the present. And present is really a very narrow space, like the razor's edge. A present which is just now present becomes past just now. That is the duration of present. By the time I start saying the word present, by the time I arrive at T, P becomes past. This is the duration of the present. That is the narrowness of present moment. But are we able to confine our awareness to this present? It's not possible, right? Why? Because that is the state of niruddha avastha. Okay? And whenever we are even in niruddha avastha, when we feel that we are nirvichara, it is still not nirvichara vaisharadya, because whether we are aware or not, there are so many poultry farms and so many hatcheries still functional beneath that water that we think is still. So many whales and sharks are still swimming there, and they will surface as they will surface. What we are trying to do here is we are trying to consider the wholesome state of mind, not the only superficial state of mind. That is why I said, even when we are niruddha, we think we are thoughtless. At that moment, we are vikshipta and thoughtless. Okay? Vikshiptata is still the part of our being. And what is vikshiptata here? Vikshiptata is pursuing some agenda. What is vikshipta? Vikshiptata is having some agenda, some undercurrent. So someone is trying to save one's relationship. Someone is trying to save one's position. Someone is trying to save the image that one carries. Someone is trying to save people, whatnot. And these are always there, irrespective of whether we are in meditation or meditation. Okay. It continues. Undercurrent is not tackled. It has not been resolved. The wholesome mind is still turbulent. Only at the surface, somehow, we have been able to still it. And even if for some few moments the ripples don't come, don't appear, seem to be appearing, the whole mind space is churning beneath. And what Patanjali is asking, Niruddha, no currents at all. When we say currents, vrittis, right? No vasana at all, no hidden agendas, no coloring of kama, krodha, mad, matsarya, lobha, etc. This is not happening. So, actually, arriving at Ritambhara Prajna is the toughest most task. But if you are capable of arriving there, what is it that it will reveal to you? It will reveal the truth about anything and everything. And when it does so, when I said anything and everything, we thought that the highest faculty or the seat of self is intellect. We are our buddhi. Okay. Beyond that, who we are? Nothing. Who you are, you will define yourself in some or the other way. I'm a male, female. You'll define yourself in time and space, in numbers, right? Numbers also. I'm 40, I'm 50, I'm 21. Is it not? This is also what you are going to do. Huh? You will define yourself as XYZ. When I say XYZ, XYZ means XYZ means female, male, or male, female, and trans. And whatnot. This definition, where it is stored? It is stored in your intellect. And your own understanding about your own self is not beyond buddhi. You don't understand what buddhi is. You only understand whatever concepts buddhi holds. Second, you don't know what the mind space is or mind is. You only know the projections or the eruptions that are being made available within that mind space. You don't know what the mind is. Do you know what mind is? You don't know what mind is. But mind is, it can be correctly inferred if you understand. Mind is that space in which you register the presence and absence of the stimulus. Okay? Mind is that space, that entity. Do we recognize our mind like that? If we could recognize our mind like that, will we ever say that our mind is disturbed? Because that which supports the absence and presence both, will it ever be disturbed? I'm giving an example to further clarify. Let us take the example of space. The space, this void space supports the presence of an object, correct? And then supports the absence of an object. Does the space really get disturbed by the object, presence of the object? Any gain to the space? Or when the object is removed, is there any loss to the space? Never so. In the same way, when you say our mind is disturbed, you are not actually talking about the mind, because mind can never get disturbed. It supports the disturbance as well as peace both. How can you say your mind is disturbed? But you will recognize that only when you have been able to experience that mind, not the impressions upon the mind. Got it? And if you are capable of doing it, and how will you be capable of doing it? By learning to still it. Because you can't capture the screen unless until the movie projection is stopped. You can't experience the presence of the screen in its own way, the way it exists, without the projection coming to a stop. And once you do that, you can see, yeah, this is the screen. So mind is just like that screen, which captures the transitory impressions falling upon it. It supports. That element is called mind. And then what is intellect? It's another transmutation of the same mind or same chittam, which holds concretized ideas, which is capable of holding concretized ideas. Mind does not have that capacity, by the way. If you want to store, I'll tell you how we can differentiate. Quality of tattva or quality of material will change when we are talking of intellect, buddhi, and when we are talking of mind. Both are different materials. How? I'll tell you. Suppose you want to take the backup of your hard disk. How does that backup come out of this particular instrument called computer, laptop, PC, tablet, whatever? Through the electrical impulses, it comes out, right? Now, just those wires which are coming out, connect it to anything. Let's say just drop all the wires in the water. Will it store it? Will that data which is coming out in the form of impulses will be stored by that water? No. But when you connect a semiconductor chip designed in a particular way, it's just silica, but it is configured in such a way, it has become a different material altogether. When you connect it to that, every data is stored. If you thought that just by mixing certain material elements, that's called doping. Those who have understood, those who have studied little bit of semiconductor technology, they should know that there is a way of creating silica, enabling this normal silica or sand to be able to work as some specific device by way of doping. Doping means introducing some or the other metallic element in the chip, in the silica chip. Okay, and then this combination becomes a way in which it operates differently. Now, just thinking that mixing certain element in silica creates the capacity in this balu or what you call sand to store the data or work like something which is decision making, intelligent element. It doesn't happen that way. It has to be organized in a particular way, then only it will do. That's all semiconductor, VLSI and all that, it is called material is same. Somewhere it is just working like as a conduit, then it is mind. When it is capable of storing whatever is going through it, it is intellect. But material's quality has changed. So what is a plain conduit? Which is just passing the information from here to here. And while it is in transit, you can know that this is the impulse here. This is either 0 or 1 going ahead. This is the state of mind. This element is mind. But when mind is configured in a different way, it becomes a different material altogether, and that is known as intellect. Intellect is the capacity that you are provided with. What you actually install in it depends on all the other parameters, whatever is your conditioning, sanskars, the kind of family you born, kind of education you're given, etc., etc. So what your intellect holds depends on what has been given in, what has been installed. That is the functionality of it, the concepts or that impressions which get stored in intellect. But everybody is blessed with intellect. Please understand. Every normal human being has an intellect. It may have certain data, may not have certain data. It's like having a hard disk without any data. So all of us are having that. Intellect is with us. Buddhi is with us. What is stored in it depends on the exposure of it. Correct? So that is another element. Okay. So do you know what buddhi is? I just tried to explain. By this explanation, did you understand what buddhi is? You don't know. You still don't know what buddhi is because you have never done pratyaksha of it. You never have had any direct experience of what buddhi is. But this is needed. Understanding this concept is needed. Now you know that certain part of mind which supports transition of different kind of impulses and impressions is known as, and it has a different quality, is known as mind. And in a different composition, a different variation, different gradation of mind which stores it is known as intellect. Now these two things are different. For you, were they ever different? Maybe after going through so many discourses, so many dikshas after dikshas, you may have understood, tattvas after tattvas, understanding. You may have little bit inferential understanding of, like this, probably these are there. There is mind, there is ahankara, there is buddhi, there is also chittam and all that, However, no direct experience. At best, you are still your buddhi only. You see, while buddhi is just a capacity, a material that has been provided to the Purusha, the Chaitanyam, the limited Chaitanyam has been provided with this tool, this material in which certain concepts can be stored. It is also an object of perception for whom? For Purusha. Because it is separate from Purusha. It is a perception for the Purusha. So who will look at it? Who can perceive buddhi? Purusha can perceive buddhi. Buddhi cannot perceive itself. Acha. When I say buddhi cannot perceive itself, you know what does that translate to? It simply means you cannot perceive it. Because your own definition lies in buddhi, who you are. You. And that is the reason I always say, मैं की मुक्ति नहीं होती, मैं से मुक्ति होती है. So Ritambhara is the direct capacity of Purusha, and it is independent of Buddhi. So Baba, whether you are 8th fail or BA pass or PhD from Harvard or BTech from Cambridge, it does not mean anything. Because being all this doesn't enable you to perceive the truth. Because being all this does not actually ignite Ritambhara. Ritambhara is a faculty of perception which is available only to Purusha. And therefore, it perceives independently, equally, uniformly, and wholly. Because what is the limitation? Now, independently, yes, independently. Because now it does not depend on the sense organs or intellect or mind or capacity or logic or nothing. Number one, independently. And it perceives everything wholly because the limitation of the sense organs, mind and intellect and logic, etc., limit our perception of the thing and the concepts and the elements and whatever is being presented to us. Now it is independent of it. Therefore, Ritambhara knows everything wholly, fully, completely, totally, independently, and uniformly. Uniformly, because now Dr. Nitin versus Prachi versus Milind versus Pawan is all in the intellect, is all in the sense organs. Pawan might be having some problem with the vision. He may be having some different power. He may be myopic. He may be something else. Srivatsa might have some cataract problem just coming up or just got operated. He will have a better vision, whatever. But it is independent of the sense organs. It is direct faculty of Purusha. And if it is direct capacity of Purusha, it is independent. Uniformly, whatever truth Prachi perceives, the same truth, Prachi will never perceive it. Please understand this. Because Prachi is confined in her intellect. Beyond intellect, Prachi doesn't exist. Beyond intellect, no one exists in the way you perceive yourself. Completely independent. And this state of knowing has been reflected in what? Buddha. When we say Atman is Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta, this is what Buddha means. The capacity of every Purusha, that capacity of Buddha is just clouded by your intellect, your mind, your sense organs, your identification with the body, and your identification or the identity that you have created for yourself. That transactory ego which you have created for yourself. Get rid of it, become nobody first. Work on your mind, get out of likes and dislikes. Stop working in a way which is loaded with some sort of motives or desires. Come to the state where you're just calm, quiet, blissful. Do everything out of your happiness. Not to derive happiness, because if you want to derive happiness, it is an agenda. This is a vasana. This is your kamana. This is your tamanna. Get rid of it. Stop projecting problems in the future and stop digging the past. Don't bring the past again and again. So many things to be done to be able to calm down the substratum called chitta. From vikshipta to ekagra. I'm not saying it will get to niruddha immediately. I'm just telling you how you can attain that ṛtaṃbharā prajñā. The process is, first, stop suffering. Stop saying that you are miserable. Stop saying that you are the victim. Stop giving this a statement that God is not treating you well. Stop questioning whatever is happening. Do whatever is supposed to be done, but stop questioning. Accept what is. Come out of the fears, unfounded fears. Then stop identifying yourself, associating yourself with the body, and then start dissociating from your sense organs. Then come to the mind, calm down the mind, work on the vrittis of the mind, work on the vasanas and sanskaras of the mind, but still sanskaras will still be there. And it has already been discussed. It has already been told that it does not mean sanskaras will vanish. However, in this state, when you arrive, when ṛtaṃbharā prajñā is attained, something magical starts happening. That is the subject matter of next sutra. But for now, you should always understand that whenever and wherever we are free of our thoughts, worries, desires, hatred, and longings, or sufferings, or so much of anxieties, we are the right candidate to switch to ṛtaṃbharā, at least to progress towards that ṛtaṃbharā. And ṛtaṃbharā is a big ask, or rather, you are just at the brim of coming to ekagra chitta bhumika, from where it will get to niruddha later. By what? Further practice of abhyasa vairagya, maitri karuna mudita upeksha, ईश्वर प्रणिधान, प्रच्छर्दन विधारणा, and so many other techniques which have been already described. It's not easy, and this is real yoga. Yoga is not twisting the body and pumping the air. This is Patanjali's yoga. And that is how it has been called Raja Yoga. Okay. This is the king of yogas, because it blesses you with the capacity which can even undo so many things which you are burdened with as of now. It can undo so many things for you. All our life, either we regret or we aspire. All that we need to work on. Ritambhara tatra prajñā is the culmination of the first pada. Please understand. We began from defining what is yoga, calling it anushasanam, a discipline. And then what this discipline is, we told it chitta vritti nirodha. And then we continued, deepen our understanding about what is it and how it is achieved, etc., etc. Finally, the method in the beginning, abhyasa vairāgyābhyām-anya-viṣayā, right? And then further elaborations leading to nirvichara vaisharadhya. After that, ṛtaṃbharā tatra prajñā. And then before that, Vishokava Jyotishmati. Of course, you should not ignore that. And then arriving at this state where you are blessed with this wisdom, which is kind of, there is no word for it in English. However, we use intuitive wisdom. And what is intuitive wisdom? That somebody asked. A very seasoned shepherd, let's say, looking at a herd of sheep or flock of sheep, he looks at it. Somebody asks, how many would be there? And he'll look at it. 102 to 105. And you count. You count one by one, and you'll find, it is just 104. The professional speakers, when they go on the, arrive at the dais, look at the crowd and abki baar kam kar diya ye. Because he internally calculates, these many people are there to listen to me. Intuitively he knows. He doesn't count, he knows. And this is what comes after. And this is anumana. This is not ṛtaṃbharā, let me tell you. This is anumana, perfected anumana. Okay. It is not ṛtaṃbharā. I'm just saying even anumana can be perfected by practice, but ṛtaṃbharā is much, much higher than that. He will never say that 102 to 105. He will say 103. And one about to be born. Because one sheep is pregnant, just about to deliver. In few seconds, it will become 104. This is how it is. This is what ṛtaṃbharā is. You see, all our shastras, wherever some applied sciences have been captured, such as Ayurveda, such as other wisdom which is utilized in day-to-day. For example, there are methods of different kind of homams, a different type of upasanas, different type of astrological understandings, different type of like Ayurveda therapies. They are all Ṛtaṃbharā Prajñā downloads. They are validated later after research, and they are declared without research. How that is possible? Truth-bearing intellect you have gotten now. You stand in front of a herb and you declare everything, because herb is known its in totality. It also talks about its own relationship with other herbs. Everything known. And then simply that is documented, and it becomes a document. What? It becomes a document which is valid forever. Why? Because it is received in Ṛtaṃbharā Prajñā. It is no anumana. This is how it is. So Ṛtaṃbharā means a state of mind that only Purusha, when it is active, only the soul, only the Atman, when it is active, and is completely dissociating itself from all other organs, all other tattvas beneath it, which means not even buddhi. It is the wisdom without the intellect. That is Ritambhara. And it is viśeṣa. Why? Because this prajñā only, why it has been called viśeṣa-arthatvāt? Why? Because only this prajñā, which is viśeṣa, can perceive purusha viśeṣa ishvaraha. None other. Understand why viśeṣa? Because there is this concept of Paramatman in yoga, in which Ishvara has been defined as a Purusha Vishesha. Okay? For perceiving Purusha Vishesha or Ishvara, you have to have a Vishesha Prajna, Vishesha power of wisdom. That is Ritambhara, and it is Vishesha. This Vishesha or special or unique capacity only can perceive Purusha Vishesha. Alright. So, to perceive self, what do we need? See, Purusha Vishesha through Ritambhara. Perception of self by quieting, calming down your mind and giving your buddhi some rest. Perception of this Purusha. And that is why I always say, there is Atma Sakshatkar, self-realization, and there is God realization. Atma Sakshatkar is very easy. It can be done in different windows, different pockets, and whenever you are capable of calming down your mind, and calming down your vasanas, stilling them for some time, you get that window where you can perceive yourself. Purusha. Somewhat, you turn yourself towards Purusha. May not be experiencing in its full glory, but still you are perceiving, whatever you are perceiving is the light, that luminosity which Purusha has. In the form of its presence, your own inner state of joy, ananda, that complete sense of fulfillment, as if you have nothing to do, nowhere to go. As if krityata, that means fulfillment of all the actions has been achieved in those moments. That is the light of self. Temporarily also you may achieve it. You may prolong this experience of self, and living in this self-realization, if this becomes consistent, persistent, continuous rather than continual, then you become the candidate for that grace which is said to be available to all the Tibra Samveganam Asanna. For all those who really want it, it is very near. Tibra Samveganam Asanna. You must have gone through it. You people go through it almost every day, and I allow you to go through it at least twice, sometimes even 3 times. Do you remember certain sutras? You should. Tīvra samveganam asana. It is near only for those who have intense desire for that. Intense. हमारे लिए क्या साइड बिजनेस है, और उसका मेथड, the method has also been given. How to do it? Step by step. First, aklishta vrittis you have to have. No complaints. Live positively. Live happily. Live joyously. Let your life be the expression of your happiness, your joy, that you are emitting, not that you are deriving or seeking. That is the beginning. Okay? Let us learn, because it's just ending. It may be 1 or 2 more sutras, done. First pada is done. The highest upaya is done. And if we get hold of this, other upayas, even if this much, what is it that it is professing here? Move from klishta to aklishta, move in the Maitri Karuna Mudita Upeksha, move in Ishwar Pranidhan, move into some sort of discipline of abhyasa, and most importantly, develop some vairagya. This is what it is asking. Not a big ask though. But we fail ourselves. Nobody can help them. हमने वैराग्य कर लिया है. I mean vairagya. Okay? How did you achieve it? I have achieved vairagya from vairagya. Even if it is there or not there, I don't care. See? Our mind is so cunning and our logic is so flawed that we can come up with some certain things like that. And such a statements make sense to people. When I said that, many of you would have felt, bilkul theek baat hai. Vairagya, ultimate vairagya is vairagya from the vairagya itself. Even if it is there, not there, that is called par vairagya. You see, I'm not in vairagya, I'm in par vairagya. You see, so this is how we can fool ourselves easily, because mind is capable of it. It has been fooling us right from the beginning of this creation. Had it not been doing so, we would not have been born as whatever we think we are, right? Tom, Dick, and Harry. Okay. Hari Om, Hari Om. Let us now just pray and then we'll leave. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shiva.